thing. So we stand in front of Dollar Tree and basically,
such as this thing here.
All right, I'm excited to have a guest.
metal right here, of course, everyone is. Cuba is like they're under a dictator. RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We are live for a Tuesday edition of the People's Talk Show. Excited to be back. Looking forward to connecting and finding out what's on your radar. And I thought tonight would be a great time to talk about if it wasn't already a crap show in D.C., because of this whole House and Senate divide, our country this upcoming year is about to go through a heck of a whirlwind of events, all due to just nothing being done, which for the most part is not surprising. But this recent House rescinding the IRS monetary allotment and then looking to end the IRS. Are you kidding me? Like, it's going to be very entertaining. But anyway, hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to this Tuesday edition of the People's Talk Show. As always, we'd love to find out what you guys have been keeping an eye on. So let me know in the chat, as well as any first-time viewers. Let me know where you're watching from. We'd love to acknowledge your presence. And if you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up button. Hopefully that notifies more people that can plug in with us and hear somewhat of an alternative spin on what's really happening out here to kind of filter through the noise a little bit. But all right, so what I'm going to do, as always, you know how I do it. I want to just do a little maintenance on my side here. And just encourage people, if you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up button, as well as click the bell notification. Hopefully you are notified. And then also make sure you subscribe if you're coming across this for the first time. I want to plug in more frequently, and that'll be a blessing to me. And also alternative media channels. Make sure you guys continue to connect with your favorite content creators off of YouTube, because I got a feeling that by next year, YouTube is going to be not too friendly to people who speak real truth. And so hopefully be able to get you guys connect with me on RTD locals and things of that nature. So, all right, let me acknowledge a couple people in the chat. Then I'll thumb through 3 or 4 headlines, just things that caught my attention, get your 2 cents on it, and then also bring some more topics to the table, then open up the phone lines and we'll jump into it. All right, we got Tim checking in. We have Renee checking in. We got Rich Mountain says, last night's show was a high bar. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. You know, I just on my end trying to figure out how to shake things up and be more creative yet engaged with you guys, as well as give you guys a chance as well to let your voice and opinions be heard. So I think the call-in part of the People's Talk Show is the most important part, because we all get to learn from you, the viewer. So appreciate you guys. Neil says, like and share. Appreciate you. MW351645. Good evening. Silver Lion checking in. We got Roman checking in. Okay, MW says IRS bill may pass the Senate, may stop it going through. All it was the watchdogs for regular pool. Not sure what that is, but I'd be very surprised if the Senate even think about touching that. So I think once again, it's more of a charades game of that good cop, bad cop. You know, let's continue to stir the pot a little bit, and more so the House in particular, wanting to jawbone and push back against everything the liberal left is looking to, accomplish, to stall for the most part. And I think it's about stalling to try to kick things and push things further to accomplish nothing significant, while giving, I guess, whoever the presidential candidate will be chosen for 24 a chance to come in and, I guess, really stir up the pot and piss people off. So we'll see, man. But I think it's entertaining, worth talking about. What else? We got Carlos Garcia, we got Dr. Moda, we got the 1.7 climate, Kenneth checking in, Miss Love, TB. Stock up on food and water now. Let me see what this is. I just want to fast forward to 2024. I believe that that's the year where we will see things we would only see in movies. That's, surprising. 2024, it's a year away, literally. And I think well before then, we're going to see some things that only would happen in science fiction type movies. And as I always mention on my side, one of the most, I guess, touching parts about everything we're witnessing is the more and more, especially in the Telegram group, where more people share stories about people just suddenly departing. I mean, to me, that in itself is like a horror movie for families and everything like that. So, and I think it, of course, unfortunately, will get a lot worse because we're not even talking about the economic side of things, and they're setting us up to be a hell of a doozy. All right. Okay. So let me stop ranting, man. Appreciate everybody for blessing me with your presence. Welcome to the live stream. Let's talk. So just real quick, I want to go through a couple let me see if I can pull up on the screen here. Just a couple things that caught my attention. And let me see here. Let me open this up here. I'll start off by touching on that court case that one of the callers, one of the members of the community called in a while ago and was highlighting what he thought was the importance of this case going before the Supreme Court. And, once again, he brought it to my attention. I wasn't, familiar with it. But as of now, um, it says breaking the Brunson brothers case denied by the Supreme Court. And so I'd imagine there's a lot of other people out there that were very hopeful that this case would have made it to the Supreme Court, basically highlighting more of the fraudulent activity in the political sphere. And so it doesn't surprise me, unfortunately, that this thing was dismissed or not even considered by the court, because it's my personal opinion that the Supreme Court and all the people that have been chosen I won't say all of them, but a good portion of the judges chosen during the Obama administration, uh, to me, are very left leaning. Not country first. They're not interpreting the Constitution. They're trying to reinvent it. And so I didn't have much hopes in this thing actually gaining any traction, but it's not too late. They said they're going to try to contest it again and do some other things with it. But says the petition was denied. We will now make our next move, a petition for reconsideration. Hang in there, everyone. So once again, it's always about having hope. Keep your head high, keep fighting, keep pushing. But when the entire system in and of itself is corrupt, where can you find justice? That's one of the things that I think a lot of people are hanging on to. So, but anyway, I thought that was worth mentioning. But let's jump into the bill, the topic of, I guess, the hour. And so, as you guys can see here, it says House passes bill to rescind over $70 billion in IRS funding. And there's a lot of pushback from the White House. And of course, the liberal left was not too happy about this, just because, this $70 billion could possibly be held up from the globalists trying to further their technocratic takeover by having AI and everything in between coming into funding the IRS, as well as that it was 87,000 or something like that employees they were trying to bring on. And of course, I saw Treasury Yellen saying something like, we're not trying to, it will not impact those who make under 400,000. We won't be looking to audit more. I'm like, come on now, this chick, at this point, nobody in their right mind actually believes her, or for the most part, listen to her. But real quick here, it says the House of Representatives voted late Monday to rescind over $70 billion in IRS in the first bill under the 118th Congress. It now goes to the Democrat-controlled Senate, where it has little chance of progress amid an additional opposition from the White House. So it'll be a stalemate. And so I had imagined, and that's where this year I'll probably get a chance to dive into more of the political side of things. But I had imagined if it passes the House and gets rejected at the Senate, it'll just be a no-go. Basically just cancels itself out. Nothing will come from it. And so my only question is, for those who are out there are probably a little bit more political savvy than myself, by the House not being able to pass this, as of right now, that additional funding is baked into the cake for the 1.7 trillion pass forward. So does it still go to the IRS? My assumption would be that it does, but if we have anybody out there keeping a greater eye on this, let me know. But I think this type of stuff here, we can expect a lot more of this, just because it paints the picture that the Republican Party or the GOP is, still acting in the interest of the people, and yeah. Okay, so let me know your thoughts on that. We'll keep it moving. And then to take it even further, House Republicans to vote on a bill abolishing the IRS. Now that's some next level stuff that, on the surface, it sounds exciting, just because that will be the ultimate blow to the banking cartel, monetary cartel, whatever you want to call it. But then again, if they're throwing this at us at this point of the game, where we all pretty much know that things are unraveling extremely fast, and literally they're operating on, they're just trying to just buy some time type of thing. what then will they put in there? And what they're throwing out here now is that a flat tax with some other additional type of tax. What is it here? It says Republicans in the House will vote on a bill to abolish the IRS, eliminate the national income tax, and replace it with a national consumption tax. And so that sounds like it's less stringent. But then again, the uber wealthy already don't pay tax, so they're not going to really be hit hard. And then your average, working class people that have a flat tax will be, I guess consistent if it was at a 20 or whatever percent they decided to cap it at. But on the national consumption tax, that's more of like a VAT tax, value added tax type of model, which basically says that everything you buy on top of what we're already paying with, income tax, or I'm sorry, state tax and whatever other taxes out there, this will be an additional tax. So if they were to cap the national income at say 25%, but then the value added tax or the national consumption tax, which is a VAT tax, everything we do on top of that will be a tax. So it'll kind of like make up the difference in a sense to where who consumes the most. Obviously, it's the working class individuals. And so once again, it might cancel itself out to where no matter what, taxes in of itself will still be a problem for a lot of people, especially heading into this current economic, downturn where the government's going to look to get involved in people's affairs more just because of the desperation that's going throughout the country with all these layoffs, as well as let me share another little visual aid with you that lets you know the true state of what's happening out here. Let me grab this and I'll put this on a screen here. Bear with me one second. Curious to get your thoughts on some things. So here's a visual aid that I grabbed. Let me see if I can minimize it here just to highlight some things. All right, so let me put this on the screen. Give me 1 second. All right, so here is a interesting visual aid. Just basically, this is from Reventure Consulting. It says personal savings rate, in America, according to the Bureau of Economic Activity. And so here we have to the far right a recession warning on top of all the other indicators. The inverted yield curve, which is even steeper, yada yada yada. As of right now, people are literally, I wouldn't say the majority, but more than enough of society is living on crumbs for the most part to where these are the type of economic conditions that will be which is considered the slow burning process, which is going to be a long drawn out process to where unfortunately it won't be most people won't have the ability to recoup from this because not only are they not able to save, but then again, they're borrowing more credit card usage on top of other things. But just this visual aid here lets you know that, unless there's some type of complete reversal of the Fed and they decide to just put their foot on the gas and just cut on a spigot again and just decide to flood the world with more currency, we're going to go through that hyper stagflationary event that I've been talking about here. But real quick, it says the savings rate just collapsed down to 2.2%, the lowest level ever. And so as of now, it looks like before the great financial crises around that time frame, it got down to 2.1-ish. So it's fast approaching that. So just something worth mentioning. Okay, so what else we got to talk about here? So here's another interesting little bit of possible entertaining news. We have Thomas Massey. And so he's a U.S. representative from Kentucky. And it looks like he's out here attempting to stir the pot a little bit more. So not only are they talking about trying to abolish the IRS, which won't fly. It won't fly at all. Just like the recent denying or rescinding the IRS funding. But he said, it's official. I just reintroduced my bipartisan bill to audit the Federal Reserve, HR 24. And so usually these type of bills here sound good for the conservative part, the patriotic, make America great type individuals, but it won't fly either. But once again, amongst this, as well as ending the IRS, auditing the Fed, that all sounds good, but ultimately it won't accomplish much in my 2 cents. So, but I thought this was just something worth bringing to the table because for the most part, it sounds good in theory, but I don't, really think it's going to get much play. But are you surprised? Not at all. Okay, so what else we got here? Let me see if I got, let me see any other articles here worth mentioning. I can spare you guys on the rest of this stuff, but abolishing the Fed, abolishing the IRS, and auditing the Fed. Two things that, if it wasn't at the late stage it wasn't in the late state of the game of this whole reset, where things inevitably will come down crashing and burn, and it'll be the reboot. It would sound good, but I wouldn't hold my breath. All right. So let me see here. What else we got here in the chat? Let me know what you guys want to touch on. There's lots of things. I go to the Telegram and grab some stuff, but just want to jump into the discussion. So what we have about 15 minutes or so into the chat. Feel free to throw out some topics or anything that you've been keeping an eye on. Bring something new to the table. Feel free to do that. We'll definitely love to find out what other stories are developing and worth mentioning. And I think it'll be good for people to, of course, stay plugged in. And Persistence Over Resistance says, I told you that 87,000 IRS agents was BS. Oh, Persistence, I don't doubt it whatsoever. That's like basically saying the government, which always love to, expand by, adding more to the labor force. But I also know that the goal is to minimize human labor and utilize AI and everything in between. So I think the IRS and the government has a much greater chance of probably, implementing that GPT into the IRS to substitute, all their employees rather than actually bringing on 87,000 people. So I agree with you. It's not happening just because the technology is what they would rather use. So as well as the robots and everything like that. So, and speaking of which, let me share something else with you. That I thought was interesting. Let me see if I can grab it. Just some last minute things that came to mind. Let me see. So, okay, here we go. Let me put this on the screen here. I think this definitely says a lot. Here we have Microsoft reportedly closing in on 10 billion investment into Chat GPT creator OpenAI. So not only is Bill Gates, I think, early investor in it personally, and then of course Elon Musk is an investor in it, and all the other billionaires. But because this Chat GPT is getting so much attention, it looks like Microsoft also wants to incorporate it as a part of their search engine and things like that. And so, yeah, it's just the timing of all of this, couldn't be greater for all the technology companies to really ramp up on the use of AI, on top of all the fast food chains going towards the robotics for flipping burgers and fries and things like that. So these are the things that's happening behind the scenes that, for the most part, most people don't talk about just because it doesn't really impact them right away. But already with the technology that's been used, it's disrupting things. But that's all a part of the Great Reset, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which is well underway. And there's no stopping it, unfortunately, just because all the primary tools we use are a part of it. So from your cell phone makers to all the apps you use, all the websites you use, all the tech companies that are in on it, they've all signed up for it. And so long as we continue to use these tools for our own entertainment, we're actively participating in this great takeover. So that's one of the things that a lot of people may not be considering, is that as long as we support Google and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, even Elon Musk, he's not the saint people want to paint him out to be. So he's literally profiting off of OpenAI. He's going to get paid on that. Neuralink is also dropping this year, where he's going to plug people right up to the internet. He's getting paid. So I guess that measly 44 billion he spent for Twitter is just a doorway into people's pockets even further, because he's going to roll out, the currency side of things in there, and digital ID stuff. And so all that stuff is just, it is what it is, people. But anyway, I don't want to be doom and gloom, guys. Just speaking for what I see on my back end here, as I try to pay attention a little bit to everything and try to make sense of things. Let me see here. It says, Persistent Over says, bots like that have been writing articles for these woke publications. Oh, yeah, no doubt. And like for content creators, it's in and of itself, beyond, people who actually come before the camera, speak in real time and speak from the heart. The deep fake stuff is out there, I'm sure, where people can actually have stuff pre-recorded, pre-scripted, AI write it, and a fake visualized person up, shares it, but it just won't ever come from the heart. And that's one of the things I think will be different between all the virtual reality stuff they're going to bring our way. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be informative, but it won't never connect with the human heart directly. And that's one of the key differences, I think, coming up of what's coming. Jane says Neuralink has got to be BS. Surprisingly, Jane, my assumption is that, mankind in and of themselves always want to just toe the line of trying to be everything they can be, i.e., the next side of that is to try to be God. And so if you're promised that you can have either, like for people who have any type of mental issues or whatever, if you get a chance to get your memory back, or they're going to always say a cure or something, Alzheimer's or something like that, you better believe you're going to have some people lining up for that. Now, of course, they're part of the test bed, so it may or may not work, but they're always using humanity right now. Everything is trial and error to try to find out what works and what doesn't. And of course, like, they're experimenting with humanity in real time. Just look at the health situation we're experiencing. Still under, emergency youth authorizations, but people, didn't really care. They jumped in line, willingly to participate. Some people got burgers and fries, and some people won the lottery, the health lottery. And I wonder, are those people still around, and are they in the best shape? Who knows? So you're gonna always have some suckers to get in line for something. Long story short. Jane, let me see. It says, Jane says, how could you download and upload thoughts into the cloud? Jane, I don't know the science behind it, but if man can think it, somebody's working on trying to achieve it. And I believe that this is all in direction towards that, that time frame where I always say that coming down the home stretch as we enter in towards the Great Tribulation time frame, a lot of the things we're going to be witnessing with the alleged powers that the enemy has will come through deception, and they'll use, whether it be blue beam in the sky, shaping ships and all types of stuff up there that's some type of simulation, as well as being able to project stuff in people's bodies now, especially if you have participated in any of that technology stuff that they want to put inside the body. It'd be easy for them to project something that's not really there in front of your mind and make you think is there. And yeah. So anyway, okay. Phone lines are open, people. Let's talk. Feel free to give me a call. I want to hear your thoughts on whatever you have out there. TB says most phones are 4G. Yeah, and that's where I think, so here, just me being real, I got my tinfoil hat over there. I just think if people were able to buy into the health side of things and go willingly participate, a lot of those people now are waking up to the truth. Imagine how a good portion of those people will feel, or what they might think after the fact when they find out that all those 5G towers just located every quarter of a mile circling your neighborhood, they're not really for you to have faster internet. Imagine when people find out that it's an electrical grid system designed to keep and track you in real time with or without your phone, and being able to transmute things to your brain and stuff like that. Like, that's some spooky stuff that people would say 2-3 years ago, oh man, that's conspiracy. Okay. And in alternative media, I follow a lot of videos that, are suspect. I take everything and just, try to process it. But I've seen more videos, especially, how is it, and it's another question, how is it, or have anybody else noticed that in a lot of the second, third world countries, especially in Africa, I watch a lot of travel videos from Africa. For as poor as most of the countries are, average person make $1 a day. It's just complete poverty there. How is it that they still got 5G towers in those villages when people don't even have 5G phones or even have a phone? See, people, that makes me wonder, like, how do they have towers there and they don't even have internet that everybody can use? So what's the real reason for those things? And so that's, I think, what, sooner than later, the world will be introduced to, which, like the person mentioned earlier on, by 2024 being like a science fiction horror movie. Yeah, like the FDA, CDC didn't have the zombie page on their website for nothing. Like, the technology is further advanced than what we want to admit. Okay, I'm rambling. Missing calls, forgive me. All right, let's get some calls in here. Let me see what I can do. Give me 1 second. Hello, caller. Which name are you calling from? Steve, what's going on, my friend? Give me a talk. Give me a call. What's on your mind?
Hey, just calling to see, just calling to check on what's the dude down in Mexico that coolest white guy down in
Oh,
Shishkaba.
yeah, our guy DJ, yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on
Oh,
with that? What's going on with Mexico? What you found out?
Well, they're shooting, given that El Chapo's son was arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Americans aren't safe down there right now. So is that why he wants to get out of there? Or
okay.
I sent you a link. I sent you a link there.
Okay, let me grab it.
Talks about those stories and everything. But yeah, the tourists are almost locked up in well, not locked up, but recommended to stay at their resort and not go out. And they're shooting at the airplanes at the airports.
Okay.
That stuff's going on. There's videos of them doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to know, is that I know he called in the other day and he was talking about he wanted to get out of Mexico.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there going, "Oh, that's right around the same time that El Chapo's son was arrested."
Yeah.
And all that violence started breaking out around that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely videos out there of them talking to a tourist in Mazatlan and other places.
Yeah.
And basically, a lot of them can't even get to the airport and stuff now due to what's going on down there.
Okay, so that's I did see some video footage about that, but I haven't looked into it just because I want to say the region it was further south. I think it was Mexico City or some city. So capital city of Culiacan. I don't know where Culiacan is at. Let me see if I can geographically find Culiacan and see where that's located at.
It's near Mazatlan because that's where the people were basically the resort area. It's near that because they were told to stay in their basically shelter place or whatever, and check with the airports and all the rest of that because the cartels were shooting at the airplanes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That'd be I guess the guy down in Mexico could
chime in on that.
Inform us better. Or somebody else knows. Call in.
Yeah.
To update us. Anyway, that's about it. That's about it for me.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for sharing some insight in real time. Thank you, my friend.
All right, take care.
Yeah, be good.
Later.
Yeah, okay. So that's another angle of things to consider. The instability of these, I guess, what were considered, escape routes or, tour. They were usually expat relocation sites. I know a lot of people relocated to Mexico for cheaper cost of living and freedom and things of that nature. But then again, the crime there is, it's a whole nother level there. Let me see here. So yes, let me see. Dat Boy Willis. I am familiar with the newly named health version of that thing that's out being used to scare the world. And I did see an article about that. I guess a professor from Canada labeled it the Kraken. It's like BV5 or whatever. But and so I guess mainstream media decided to jump on it, and now they're going to use that particular name there. And also, I saw that they're going to look to what is it? They're going to look to the upcoming variants. They're going to also get away from the what is it? The the Roman characters? Well, alpha, pi, phi, theta, and all that other stuff. So, yeah. And apparently, of course, it's more virulent than the other ones, and whatever. So, yeah, this stuff is not going away. So this stuff is not going away. They're going to use this because it's a part of the plan. I always make sure they keep us mindful that there's something out there. Now, never mind the fact that natural immunity is still better than anything. But on another note, here's something also that let me grab this right here. So Mr. Alex Jones, who also tends to be ahead of the curve when it comes to sharing real-time news. Here's something that comes from his website. So airborne Ebola is what he's claiming is the next medical situation they're going to put out there. So it says globalists planning to release an airborne Ebola. Now, make of it what you may, but if we know that the health situation is something they want to use long term, the health situation is something they want to use to the next remainder of this decade, because their objective is that the Great Reset will be complete through the transition and the use of all the technology that they want to roll out to fully execute their fourth industrial revolution. And then on top of that, the smart grid, the cities, and all that stuff like that also comes with it, because that's that part where the government and the private public partnerships by the World Economic Forum owns everything and you own nothing and happy with it. That's the part of the agenda that we still will probably see. Mike RTD says, maybe Mexico will sell avocados and silver coins. It's game over for SCR. Yeah, once again, I think the cartel situation is definitely a little hiccup in the globalist agenda, because the president of Mexico, he's also compromised president. So, he's moved at a slower pace towards the World Economic Forum's agenda, but he's still lock and key. Any true threat to their plan, there's always a faulty election process. Every global, this has happened every country around the planet. They're all puppets that are reinstated into positions of power, because the same people and the same software is being utilized in all these countries. So, and I'm not sure if it's Dominion or whoever else, but they're all compromised. So only people who are selected actually are land up in office. There are no countries. There's not many countries. Even Putin, he may not be the nicest of guys, but I think he's moving at a much, much slower pace than what Klaus probably wants. But then again, I think he's going to still take Russia to the same finish line that the U.S. and Europe and Africa and all those other countries will end up at. It's unfortunate, but mind you, biblically speaking, all this in some point in time in the future will be a unified one world, some type of single point of currency payment method. That's going to be the end result. No matter how we want to look at it, that's the end result. So it's just a matter of timing. And so apart from the Lord disrupting some things and maneuvering and slowing things down, we have to end up like that. So, and the question is, if that is true, if you believe how revelations unfold between now and the time you depart, whether it's early or the Lord returns or whatever, what do you do about it to enjoy and to be the most productive with the time you have left? And that's kind of where, I'm ranting a little bit and missing calls, forgive me. But those are some things that really are on my mind in 2023. How can I make 2023 a year where, I'm more fruitful, as well as experiencing fulfillment? Just because, and if you're not growing as a person, growing spiritually, growing, financially, growing in the things that, really makes it worth getting up in the morning for, then, what really are we doing here? So yeah. Anyway, I just felt that I should say that. And also, I'll probably do a video at another point, but just finished my first book of the year, The Blessings and Curse. It was right on time. Man, it blessed my socks off as far as helping me, as I mentioned the other day, unclog some things spiritually. Like the Lord really brought out a lot of things that, not necessarily, outright sinful, but areas of my life where I need to clean up, and being able to acknowledge, become aware of it, and repent of a lot of things that have been holding me back was exciting to do. And so looking forward to experiencing more of the blessing this year in all the areas of my life. So anyway, just a little bit of my testimony for those who are interested. But if you haven't, I would encourage you to read that book, just because it might highlight some things in your area as well, of things that have been clogging up your blessings. Because we all can be more blessed. No matter how blessed you are, you always can be a little bit more blessed. Anyway, let me get some call. Let me see here. Shoot, give me 1 second here. I'm up here. Not a phone. Ain't acting right. Okay, here we go. Let me get this right. Hello, caller. Which name are you calling from?
Mike, Tony from Oakland. How you doing, brother?
TB, doing good, my friend. What's up with you?
I am doing good, man.
That's
Happy
good.
New Year.
Same to you, boss. Same to you. Yes, this first call of the year. First call of the year, ain't it?
I believe so, man. But I had a lot of things on my mind, so I thought I'd give it a whirl.
Hey,
and put on my full hat for you.
Okay, go ahead, bring it to me, man. I'd love to hear
it. What's the one thing that they don't talk about?
The one thing they don't talk about.
Make it short.
Say that again.
The sun. S-U-N.
Yeah, S-U-N. Yep.
Yep. And the sun, you have to believe and know, and if not, you have to go do the research for yourself. Because I'm not going to tell you. The sun is connected to all universe.
I believe that.
Not only that, we are magnetically connected to the sun.
Okay.
What they aren't telling you is that we are in a 12,000 year cycle. And that 12,000 year, there's a magnetic flip that happens on the earth every 12,000 years.
Okay.
They have events, and NASA and everyone has written this down, and you need to go do the research. Believe a word I say.
Okay.
You need to do the research, and it's called the Solar Cycle 25. That's just the start.
Okay.
That's the egg and cake. That ain't even the icing.
Okay.
We are going to, and that's why everybody's starting to act so weird, and we can't figure it out, is because they know that we're going through a magnetic flip. And it's similar to what the Noah event was. How does Noah know? They say God told him, but you know, with this event, it's an all lights out event. It's people dying, it's animals dying, it is a major thing that's already happened to us. And they figure by 2030 it's going to happen. But more of the scientific people are saying between 2030 and 2040. But you know, with the solar cycle 25, it can happen anytime from tomorrow until the 2030. Yeah. And that's lights out event. So wherever you are because the sun will put out a CME, and it will short everything, burn up everything that's electrical, has metal in it, just melt it down. And you are where you are. Yeah. And if you aren't prepared, the next thing that's going to happen is the flip. And it's going to cover the whole entire world. And if you ain't ready and prepared and in a safe place, you got to figure out how to float out and then float back in.
So watch this. So, you know, based upon all that information, which, you know, once again, I wouldn't begin to question it because I haven't looked into it. But, you know, just off my first couple of thoughts is, you know, my personal viewpoints, biblically speaking, you know, doesn't really line up with that because, first of all, I don't really think, you know, I'm more of the creationist world viewpoint of the earth is not, you know, how many ever billion years old type of numbers we're given. And then to hear the 12,000 year cycles that happens there. I'm like, first of all, nobody's been around that long to record that stuff. So like to say NASA or scientists, I don't really, you know, go ahead.
I'm going to answer your question though.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer your question. Everybody thinks they're in Antarctica to look at spaceships under the ground, worlds under the ground. No, they're in Antarctica digging through the ice to see how old this planet really is. And so far, they've come up with every 12,000 years, they see ice, they see sediment, they see ice, and the only way you get that, the only way you can get sediment is that the earth flips, warms up, and then does it every 12,000 years.
Well, so okay, and I know what I'm not in a position to say you're lying. I would never say that, but it's one of them things where, in order to take them at their word, you have to trust that the information that they are giving us, or not giving us, or deliberately hiding from us, is accurate. And I personally don't have any trust or confidence in them. And if I'm wrong, you know, I'll pay the price for it, of course. But so what can you do about it if that is the case? Yeah, go ahead.
Yourself like that. Just believe and go look up the Noah event.
The Noah event. Okay.
Yeah. Not only that, the Carrington event. And the last one was the Younger Dryas event. Look all those up. I come with empirical evidence, not something that's in a book.
Okay.
Empirical evidence means there's substance to it. Means you can find it. There's research done on it. I come with empirical evidence, not what's in a book and I believe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, no. So I can't question what you believe, but once again,
not my belief, Mike.
Huh?
That's my empirical evidence.
Okay, but so I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna try my best to look it up and become more familiar with these events. But once again, at the end of the day, it's about faith. If that's what you believe because of the information, events, whatever, and this is what you're expecting, then all humanity seems like they're screwed. Like, there's no civilization after this flipping in the cooling down, and there'll be a small remnant, but majority of us gonna not be here. So it's like, it doesn't really help you to have all this information as far as, yeah.
Oh yes, it does. Because you got to get to a safe place. Not everybody died. Noah didn't die,
right?
Did he?
No, it was a small remnant that was inside of that ark.
And that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
People die, animals die. The dodo bird died, and people have to understand that. Go do the research, because I did. Hey. And I'm just telling you that this event is happening, and it's happening quick. The pace is quickening, and I'm gonna give you evidence of it.
Mm-hmm.
How many earthquakes past 2 weeks have been a 7-point something?
I didn't follow in detail, but the earth itself, from a biblical standpoint, would definitely towards what is called the latter days, will definitely go through a lot of changes, atmospheric changes. So I don't doubt that there's a lot of things happening at a much rapid pace. But then again, from a spiritual standpoint, we were told that as well, that we should expect these type of things based upon.
Our forefathers wrote that.
Mm-hmm.
We wasn't told. Our forefathers wrote this,
right? And
they put it on the walls
in
Egypt. They stole this information and changed it and regurgitated it back to you, and you telling you believe it.
Well, as of right now, you believe it too, because you're saying earthquakes and the earth's gonna flip upside down and cooling.
No. I'm talking about spiritual. Your belief in the things that they say.
Right.
Your belief with empirical evidence to show you that this thing has happened. There's an earthquake that just happened yesterday. I didn't say I believe there was an earthquake that happened yesterday, and it was connected to the sun because we are electrically connected and we are magnetically connected, and there's no way that it could have happened on its own. No belief could have made that happen.
Right. Well, fair enough. I mean, hey, so watch this. I have on the screen here the Noah event. And so I'll definitely look into it. And feel free, as always, on the Telegram, add stuff there so I can definitely click on and look at it, just because that's one of amongst many other subjects. But, so I don't want, I'll be lying if I say I'm going to just gun-ho focus on it to the T, just because just a lot of things already just doesn't resonate with me on a spiritual sense. So I can't really, go until I feel that, that's what I'm supposed to, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm led that way. So I could be 100% wrong, but that's, that's on me. But I appreciate the information.
Now you got me feeling like Jesus at the well.
It's all good, brother. It's all in love, man.
You remember in John 5 with Jesus at the well to the blind man?
About picking them up and getting them down there? Yeah.
Jesus asked him a question. What did Jesus ask him?
Off the top of my head, just give it to me. What can I do for you? Do you want to be healed? Do you want to be healed? Or so I think it was. Yeah.
And what did the blind man say?
Yes, but I have nobody to pick me up to carry me down.
Is that what Jesus asking?
No, he asked if he wanted to be healed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then what did he say after
that? Forgot. Huh?
Get up and walk.
Yeah. Good point.
He told him what to do.
Yeah.
The was waiting on somebody to come and help him so he can get down there first. But the man who was there to save him,
right in front of him,
told him to walk.
Right.
We wait on somebody to save us when all we have to do is to work ourselves.
100%. Hey, I agree.
And the other thing that reminds me of is the woman who got stoned. Remember they were stoning her to death, and Jesus walked in and said, "Who is the one that hasn't sinned?" and they put down the rocks, right?
Right.
And what did he tell the woman?
I haven't. There's nobody judging. Neither do I.
She said,
sin no more. Correct.
No more. He didn't tell her what she was doing was a sin. He told her to sin no more.
Right.
So we need to stop with the antics of the book and look at what is in front of our faces.
Hey, fair enough. You spoke it, Pastor TB. Appreciate you, man.
About that, man. I just trying to. I don't want my people to be
perish for a lack of knowledge. I appreciate it.
I don't want. All right, brother.
All right, man. Be good. Yeah.
You too, brother. Bye.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Yeah, that's once again, atmospheric changes to Earth and stuff like that. All things in the natural definitely is going to be done away with. As far as how, what, where, when, yeah, I just certain things that certain things that resonate, certain things that don't. And once again, as far as all the empirical evidence, TB, put in the Telegram, I'll look at it. But then once again, just my spirit just don't really, you know what I'm saying? The Holy Spirit really, you know what I'm saying? That's just for me though. But there's other people out there who also it might resonate with, but I'm more of a young earth person. I think biblically lined up, 7,000 year time frame is the conclusion of everything, including the millennial reign. So that's just me. But I could be wrong. It's all faith-based. It's all based upon my interpretation and how the Spirit has led me. What else? What else we got here? All right, so I missed some thoughts and comments out there. Magnetic change, sun farts every 12,000 years. Yeah, it was working. Look into Mario Belingo, the Naked Bible. Yeah, and that's where it's just, that's one of the benefits of having a talk show, because I'm not able to really devote the time to focusing on a wide array of topics. I try to dip and dabble here and there. And so, I encourage you guys, if you haven't joined the Telegram and share this stuff, all these individuals, put it out there and, let people decide whether it resonates or it doesn't. Let them just dismiss it. Let them run with it. That's, I think, one of the benefits of the community, just because, I firsthand, I can tell you, I don't know it all. I know about this much, and what I know may not be right, but it might be just right for me. So I'm just a man with an opinion behind the camera and the mic. That's it. So, but beyond that, from the spiritual side of things, to me, I reference the good book just because, to me, those are the words that pertain to eternal life. And beyond that, that's a faith-based decision I've made, to where I'm going to ride to that until I leave. And I don't think I'm deviating from that course, just because there ain't nothing else out here that has done or has answers for me in accordance to the power within the Word of God that has changed my life significantly. It's too many spiritual coincidences, too many things that it would be hard for me to share, because it's just my story. You know what I'm saying? That will lead me to question that all this, man searching for ultimate wisdom and all that. I personally try to steer clear of that, just because I know where to take me, and I won't like that for myself. Moses story, stone the cheaters. Jesus has been 2,000 years old since my grandfather was living. There is reason there to try to discount the evidence. Where is history of America before your forefathers stole it? Okay, I'll let y'all guys handle that. But anyway, we'll be at 48 minutes. All right, but no, we had a good chance to get some thoughts out there. So in reference to the changes within the earth, it will get worse, hands down, biblically speaking. Especially, this is where we'll find out. But I was just, of course, doing a great tribulation time frame, the darkening of the sun, the stars, and just the stuff that's coming. I don't question that one bit. I am more than confident that, based upon all the previous events that have unfolded with accuracy, with all the empirical evidence that I would say that lies within the Middle East region and things of that nature, where, once again, people have been trying to debunk and, criticize and things like that for the Bible forever. I haven't really done it yet. So what would make me, question how things end. And so with that being the case, biblically speaking, it's going to get worse. So the Bible made it clear as to how to, for the most part, it's not about this life because it is short. We're here just this long, but it's about your eternal soul, your eternal being, the real you inside of this temporary shell you're standing in. Where is that going? And that's where, we get into Jesus Christ or Yeshua, wherever you locate Jesus or whatever you want to use to be technical. Yeshua, Emmanuel, Elohim, who's given us a direct pathway to eternal life. And I'm gonna ride that all the way out till I can't no more, man. And anyway, let's let me see. All right, so we got a 163 here. As always, appreciate you blessing me with your presence, man. And hit that thumbs up button if you don't mind. Show your support for the channel. Back at it again tomorrow. We're gonna do the hangout with the fellas, time permitting. And I'll try to get back on for another late night just to hang out with you guys. But other than that, it's always good to just, rant back and forth, get calls. So trying to get more people engaged by calling in and sharing stories, your expertise, definitely challenging thoughts, putting people out on a limb and trying to really push back and challenge and help us grow is what it's all about. So I don't want to be a stiff and just be stuck in my own way. So I'm open to hearing, that's for sure, because that's how you learn. So what else? Okay, people. Well, with that being the case, let's just close out with a little bit of prayer. I just feel led to do that just because I know this year, I'm really wanting to press in and trust the Lord for more revelation and more ways to be a blessing to other people. And so that's what it's all about, being able to give more. So that's what I'm trusting the Lord for. But anyway, let's close out with a bit of prayer for anybody who want to join in on this and just come into agreement and just pray that we'll have more revelation, be led by the Spirit, as well as be a blessing to other people. And of course, bear fruit as far as helping win souls. That's what it's all ultimately about, I think. But all right, Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to join together tonight as a community. We pray that you continue to watch over each and every one of us. Allow us to continue to dive deep into your word for discernment and understanding. Allow your Spirit to guide us into truth so that we can see the light and, of course, walk according to it. Help us to continue to just, be givers, to love and to try and to just do everything we can to, please you, but also help our fellow man, to bear fruit for eternity's sake. And we thank you in advance, Father, for all those people in positions of power that you allow them to govern over your children and over your creation with righteousness rather than their own evil and twisted agendas. And just give us discernment in this day and age and allow your blessings this year to flow like it has through the lives of everybody tuned in and everybody that's in agreement with this prayer. I ask that we all walk in a greater level of wisdom as well as just overall blessings. Pray in the name of Jesus. Yeshua. Amen. All right, people. See you guys later. Peace. Here's a great opportunity for you to get your weight up. Let's face it, our purchasing power and our currency has been destroyed in real time. That's why I'm excited to tell you about my partnership with Bullion Max. Bullion Max will ship gold and silver directly to your door for you to hold at your home or in your own safe. To help you get started, I worked out a special offer with them. Get Bullion Max Silver Starter Kit at employee pricing. Just go to bullionmax.com/RTD. This kit includes 5 of the most desirable silver products to invest in, including the American Silver Eagle and the Silver Australian Kangaroo. This offer is limited to 1 per household while supplies last, so get yours today and take advantage of this opportunity to get your weight up. Do you have backup power for emergencies? The power grid here in the U.S. is outdated and at least 2/3 of the grid is 25 years older or more. That's why having your own solar power is more important than ever. With the Patriot Power Generator, you will never be without power. You can take it with you on the go or use it indoors. Yet it's powerful enough for your phones, medical devices, or even your fridge. And right now, you can go to 4patriots.com and use the code RTD to get 10% off your first purchase on anything in the store. That even includes the Patriot Power Generator. You'll also get their famous guarantee for an entire year after your order, plus free shipping on orders over $97, and a portion of every sale is donated to charities that support our veterans and their families. Just go to 4patriots.com, use code RTD to get 10% off. That's 4patriots.com, use code RTD to get yours today.